introduce our next speaker, the Honey Badger, our commander, the mystic of MAGA, Stephen K. Bannon. God bless you.
Yo, are you guys drunk enough already? I love batting cleanup at 11 o'clock at night. Hold it, hang on. There are more convicts and more thugs here than in Danbury. And I'm just talking about club members. Thank you very much, thank you. Look, 1 year ago, at this very table, I think the table is right there, Gavin Wax turned to then President Donald Trump, because Trump won 2020, did he not? Was Trump the true president or not? I can't hear you. Gavin Wax sat right there with the President of the United States and he says, guess what? We want to have you come to South Bronx. We're going to have a huge rally, okay? That was on Inauguration Day this year. It'll be 400 days since that happened. And what did the New York Young Republicans Club do? When he was falsely charged and had all these false made-up trials by Letitia James and Alvin Bragg and that entire group of Marxists up there, what did the club do? What did you guys do? You got the street to show up. It wasn't congressmen and elected officials from Washington, D.C. You turned out the boroughs. You turned out the Bronx. You turned out Queens. You turned out Brooklyn. You turned out Staten Island, right? Everything you folks did showed the coalition that was going to win in November, on November 5. Remember when you went up and did the bodega runs, right? Remember when you went and saw the construction workers up there? Later to go to the barbershop? You then had the massive rally in South Bronx that led up, you had the thing, and then to lead up to Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden could not have been done in 2016 or 2020. This is what this club has done. This club is from the streets of the boroughs. We're not going to win this. We're not going to take down this system in the CEO suites. We're going to do it from the streets. The people are rising up, and that's why they back Trump. And Gavin Wax told him, he said, Mr. President, if you would come back, I will turn out 15,000 people in South Bronx, right? That shocked this country. No place else in the country did this. We had rallies, you had turnout, you had ground game, but what you did here in New York was exceptional. You actually showed that this coalition is multi-ethnic, multiracial, right? It only depends on you are populist or nationalist. The New York Republicans won't do it. The New York conservatives won't do it. They want to have some debating society. You're not going to debate this away. You're going to take this back from the streets. And that's what the New York Young Republicans are. You know why? You know why? You guys have the same quality Donald Trump has. You know what that is? Swagger, right? Swagger. You're going to spit in their eye and tell them they're wrong. 400 days from Gavin Wax did that, Donald John Trump is going to raise his hand on a King James Bible and take the oath of office. His third victory in his second term. And the Viceroy, Mike Davis, tells me, since it doesn't actually say consecutive, that, I don't know, maybe we do it again in 28. Are you guys down for that? Trump 28? Come on, man. Do you guys have the fight in you? Are you going to take this back? I don't think so. Are you going to take it back? Do you know what the fight, do you think the vested interest in this city, this is the capital, the financial capital of the world, you think they're just going to sit there and go, oh, this is lovely? You got Raheem Kassam and Vish Burra. You got guys from the Bronx and Queens, right? You got guys from Brooklyn and Staten Island. And we give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about you. They think you're garbage. They think you're trash. They think you're deplorables. And you proved them wrong. Okay. So we won. What are we going to do about it? You put together a coalition that has the left talking every night about, oh, we're going to be populist. We're now going to be populist. Oh, I want to be populist, right? It doesn't come that easy. You guys have been working. I've been to the club when you had these small gatherings. Look at this tonight. And look at what you've done in the boroughs. Look what you've done. That's populism. That's populist nationalism. That's the winning ticket to get 2/3 of the people in this country, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, all of it. And not just, and come from New York and spread throughout the country. If you go back and look at the other two presidents that are level of President Trump, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Washington, New York was key. It was key in the revolution, correct? It was the key that picked the lock for the Hudson Valley. It was where his first inaugural was. It's where he gave the farewell address a couple of hundred yards from this building to his officers down at Francis Tavern. This New York was absolutely critical. If you look at Lincoln in Gettysburg, where were they coming? They were coming to Harrisburg and they were headed to New York. You had the great riots afterwards. New York was absolutely central to the financing of the Civil War and actually to the prosecution of the Civil War. And let me tell you one thing. When President Trump takes the oath of office, you're going to have three things. You've got a war going on in the Eurasian landmass that's out of control with 1.7 million people dead in Ukraine, right? When he said from the beginning, no war with Putin, at the beginning, they would have never done it against Trump. Putin would have. And President Trump's the only one who can bring peace. Number one, you have the 15 million illegal alien invaders here on Biden's watch. They all have to go. In fact, your own mayor, Eric Adams, now agrees with this, doesn't he? Eric Adams came out on Friday and said, hey, after one meeting with Tom Homan, it said there are 500,000 children here that are supposed to be with their sponsors that are missing, right? Eric Adams. I think he's actually Q, isn't he? Is it Eric Adams? Is Eric Adams QAnon? Poor Mayor Adams. Poor Mayor Adams. As soon as he said it won a sanctuary city, hey, Southern District came for him, right? Mike Davis, the viceroy, is going to clean that up. As hard as the Third World War is to stop, and that's going to be President Trump's negotiation in the Middle East and with the Russians in Ukraine, as hard as it's going to be to start to deport 15 million people, started with the criminals, right? The hardest is going to be the third part of it. So 400 days from when Gavin Wax told the president, you come here to the South Bronx, you'll change politics forever. That's 400 days to Inauguration Day. If you take from today, 400 days in the future is the first anniversary of Trump's first year of his second term, January 20th of 2026. The national debt on that day, and if you don't trust me, pull your phone out and go to the debt clock. The national debt will be $40 trillion. $40 trillion. Regardless of what President Trump and Doge does right now, those numbers are almost baked in. And at $40 trillion, the game changes. As Nigel Farage said, after Liz Truss was thrown out of office by the bond vigilantes, Nigel told me, he says, Steve, more governments have been turfed out by the bond market than by howitzers. Right here in this city, the financial capital of the world is going to determine the success of Donald Trump's presidency. That President Trump's got to get, and he will, get a grip on the out-of-control debt, the out-of-control spending. Elon Musk will be a part of this, right? And I hate to say it, you're going to have populist tax cuts on no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. To make up that gap, I hate to say this, I know you got a bunch of still Republican Orthodox folks out here. You're going to have to raise taxes on the wealthy. Hey, both parties got us into this. Only the populist nationalists can get it out. But you know what? The neoliberal neocons are going to have to pay for what happened, right? We didn't get in this jam. Do you understand at $40 trillion or $1.5 trillion of interest expense, what that takes away from the country? This hole that we have dug is unbelievable. And only President Trump can get us out. Now, I do want to say one thing to the Biden regime. The Biden regime every day is working against the country and President Trump. They're exacerbating the problems in Ukraine. They're exacerbating the problems in Syria and the Middle East. They're exacerbating the problems with the Chinese Communist Party. They've shipped all our ammo out. And hey, I don't know, are they the guys that got the drones over New Jersey? Everything they're doing on the border, they're trying to get more people in here through CPB-1. They're still trying to get illegal aliens into the country. And last but not least, pal, we don't need another rate cut. And we don't need the games that Janet Yellen's playing right now with the balance sheet. What they're trying to do is to cripple President Trump in the opening days of his administration. This has to be fought every single day. Biden, you failed the exam. It's now time to put your pencil down. He's only going to be successful if you have his back. The fights in Washington have already started. You see where they passed the NDAA with $900 billion. You see where they're talking about 1 or 2 reconciliations. That's all to hide more federal spending. President Trump's going to come up, and he's going to need you to have his back. The fights are going to have Capitol Hill with the Republican Party. Look right now at his nominations, right? Pete Hegseth has to get approved. Tulsi Gabbard has to get approved. Bobby Kennedy has to get approved. Kristi Noem. Kash Patel has to be approved. Head of the FBI. President Trump took a bullet to the head and 4 months later won a landslide. He gets to have the team he wants. And I don't give a damn what Mitch McConnell's got to say about it. I don't care what Joni Ernst has to say about it. Okay? I don't care what Adam, give us advice and then give us your consent. The great Matt Gaetz, we should have never allowed that to happen. That's one of the greatest young warriors in our movement. It's one of the greatest young warriors in this country. It's unacceptable that we let pencil necks that have destroyed this country like Mitch McConnell tell us who's going to be the Attorney General of the United States. Where's your fight? You know this. They're not going to sit there and give you anything, nothing. Right now, the New York Republican Club and the Conservative Club, you know, walking around with the bow ties. They want to have some debate, some high tea somewhere. This is going to be won in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Queens, and Staten Island, up from the streets, led by you. And by leaders like Kash and Gavin Wax and Raheem and the rest of the leadership. This is not a tea party. This is not some social event. This is a fight for our country and a fight to the end. President Trump committed all of this. Remember, when he went back to Mar-a-Lago in January 2021, I can count the people that were with him. You got Dan Scavino, you got Corey Lewandowski, you got Boris Epstein, right? Boris, stand up. Boris, stand up. You got Monica Crowley, Ambassador Crowley. Think of the odds. Think of the odds of the legal. It was 1,000,000,000 to 1, right? No big law firms to work for him. What Boris put together in the 10,000 decisions you have to make every day to make it right. And it was you guys having average citizens show up outside the courtroom when they had Rachel Maddow and all these people cackling every day. And you could see average Americans, and Boris and the team coming up there with one brilliant legal strategy after the other. I know it's brilliant because George Stephanopoulos is paying $15 million and apologizing. Boris, I will never know how you pulled that off, and I don't know if I want to ask. The country's in the balance. Okay, we won on November 5th in the work of the grassroots, the canvassing you guys did. You went to Pennsylvania, knocking on doors. It's extraordinary. But that's not the fight. The fight is we won. We have all three branches of government. And most importantly, we have the executive branch right now that we can deconstruct the administrative state with brilliant people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And we got Kash Patel and Boris's legal team at the Justice Department to take on the deep state. No mercy for them. No mercy. None. Everybody's around President Trump. What do they always say when they get around him? You got to moderate. You got to be nice so we can get the mythical suburban woman, right? Right? You're not going to get her, and we don't care. You've got working class and middle class people. You have blacks, Hispanics, Asians, whites, all of it. That's what won a base election. A base election that showed you what populism in this country can do. He doesn't need the mythical, Taylor Swift, low propensity. Low propensity, low information voter from Brown University. Boris will tell you, Mike Davis will tell you, Matt Gaetz will tell you, the fight is going to start on November 20th. I mean, it's already here now. And we have to be relentless. There has to be not retribution. President Trump looks at retribution of turning this around, getting the economy growing again, jobs for everybody, to redo the economy of 2018 and 2019, okay? Because President Trump is leader of all the people. He's president of the United States. He's got a kind heart and a big soul. But that's not us, right? We want retribution. And we're going to get retribution. You have to. It's not personal. It's not personal. Think of what they did to this country. Think of what the corporate CEOs did with the DEI programs. And think of the debanking and cut it off of credit cards. Think of how they tried to destroy every person in this audience. If you stepped up and said, remember we used to have this at other places and we'd have police barricades and the left was out there and the media was goading them on, right? Because you know why? They never in a million years thought we'd be back in power. And they need to learn what populist nationalist power is on the receiving end. I mean investigations, trials, and then incarceration. And I'm just talking about the media. Should the media, Mike, where's the viceroy? Should the media be included in the vast criminal conspiracy against President Trump and his followers? Should Andrew Weissman on MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and all of them, we want all your emails, all your text messages, everything you did, you colluded in a conspiracy with Merrick Garland, Matthew Colangelo, Lisa Monaco, and Jack Smith. This is not me saying it. Benny Thompson's on TV saying, give a committee a pardon. lock them up, and throw away the key. In the White House right now, with the world on fire, they're spending the time on blanket preemptive pardons. Blanket preemptive pardons. Here's the good news, folks. Here's the good news. We've got these rats cornered. If they give the pardons, the Democratic Party is finished. Amy Klobuchar and those people are telling you that. If they give, we dare you to give blanket preemptive pardons to anybody. If it happens, the Democratic Party is over. And if it doesn't happen, you're all going to prison. That's what the Chinese call a win-win, right? The fight starting January 20th is the real fight. It's going to be determined in this city. The bond market is going to determine whether we're successful or not. The global capital markets are going to look at President Trump's plan, and if they turfed out Liz Truss, they just turfed out the French government, they're not going to turf out Trump, but we need to have his back. And the people to do it are right in this room. Are you guys up for this fight? Are you tough enough for this fight? You know, I always feel like it's the borough's prom night when I come to these things. Monica Crowley's laughing right there. Monica, knock it off, you Upper East Side types. Not cool. I want to thank you guys, first off, for staying at least somewhat sober this late in the evening. You guys are fighters. You guys are fighters, and we're going to need a fight more than we've ever had before. Each and every one of you have changed the direction of this country by showing that populism is inclusive and showing that we want unity. Unity comes from victory. We are not going to have any unity with radical Democrats. We are not going to have any unity with globalists. We are only interested in one thing, and that is total and complete victory. To quote Napoleon when he talked to his marshals of France, when you set out to take Vienna, take Vienna.